We had a chance, right? So the way mining works, right, is mining, because they founded the state, and they wrote the Constitution, right? And so there was a change, I think, in the early 80s on this, but basically the way it works is mining is a gross receipts tax at 5%. Okay, or excuse me, net proceeds, I'm sorry, net proceeds of minerals tax at 5%. So what that means is that they have tremendous deductions in what they can take off their bottom line. And it ranges anywhere from 70% to 100%. So what's left, the maximum that can be taxed is 5%. So the voters had an opportunity last November, and this was what's called a legislative referendum. So in Nevada, you can change the Constitution through two ways, right? If you and I want to change it, we qualify an amendment for the ballot, and then it has to pass twice. If the legislature wants to propose to change the Constitution, right, they have to vote it in successive sessions, and then the voters only have to vote on it once. So we had our chance in November, but this is one of the, and no one thought, even the mining didn't even fight it because they thought they were going to lose. And they ended up in a very, very close, because of the low turnout, they ended up not passing that. So mining, the only way that mining can be touched right now is on the deduction side. You can weaken some of those deductions, but you can't raise their cap. Now, a couple of other issues with the mining tax is it is a locally based tax part of it. So when they collect the money, about half of that money then goes back to the counties from which it came from. Yeah. And then the other half goes into the general fund. It makes up less than 2% of the general fund. Now, they'll say we pay all the other taxes that a business does there. But right now, unless you're going to go on the deduction side, and even the governor's, on his new tax proposal, they were taxed at the lowest rate.
They're getting more money off mining in Montana and Wyoming than we are doing.
Absolutely.
And we've got more population.
Absolutely. So that's how the mining tax works, and it's not going to change anytime soon. And they'll say, oh, the price of gold's falling, right? You can't tax it, we're very volatile. Those kinds of things. They own the legislature. They built it. It's there. They got the murals on the wall. It's ingrained into and for Southern Nevadans, it's like, what do we make a couple things where they make the stuff out of drywall. That's what we get to mine here. But in those other communities, it's the history of the state, and it's not going to change. And the voters had their chance.
You think that the voters didn't vote for it because they didn't quite understand it? Because I think a lot of people tried to understand it.
Yeah, it was, well, there's part of it that it's a little complicated, and the real reason it didn't pass is rural voters are 11% of the population, they're 17% of the electorate. So basically a rural vote in 2014 was about 1.5 votes is what it counted for.
Jeez.
Now, it was close. I mean, it was really close. I didn't look at the final tally, but it was within 1,000 or 2 votes.
600 votes.
What?
600 votes.
Yeah, it was under 1,000 votes. So, and there was no campaign for it on either side. Right? Mining wasn't going to do it because they figured, well, even if it passes, it still doesn't raise our taxes. You would still need to go to the legislature, and we can kill the 2/3. Right? We could do it that way. So I think that's the game that they were prepared to play. And so because mining wasn't fighting it, no one came out in favor of it. And so there was absolutely no campaign, and there was no media coverage of it. I think it was just sort of one of those things that everybody expected to pass, and it didn't pass.